What's up, people? This your favorite cousin Rich. And I wanted to talk about the purpose of representation and you controlling your own narrative as a people. I was having a conversation with my Latino homeboy at the gym. He's an ex-Marine, and he was telling me how when you sign up for your forms and all that, they have Latino under the category of white. So I was already scratching my head like, okay. Then he was telling me about this Latino Marine who did this one mission and saved like a whole bunch of Japanese people or something like that. I can't remember if the Japanese people were evil or good, but he did a lot. Like something so great where it deserved a movie, right? So keep in mind, boom, they have Latinos sign up and check that they're Latino, but it's under the category of white. And now you got this Latino who did this great feat. So he tells me, woo woo, they do a movie about the guy. And when he told me they did a movie about the guy, I started laughing. And he said, "Why are you laughing? You must know." I said, "Yeah, I know how they get out." He said, "What?" I said, "In the movie they made him white." He said, "Yeah." He said he said in real life he's a 5'5" Mexican. And in the movie they made him a 6-foot white boy. And I busted out laughing. And he was like, "Should I feel some type of way about that?" He was asking me. He was like, "As a Latino, should I feel some type of way about that? As a Mexican, should I feel some type of way about that?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "That takes away your representation. That takes away the power from your people." I said, "It's important to say that you Mexican American. Because when you just assimilate as just being American and you take away that Mexican part, it takes away your heritage, it takes away your roots. Now you just American." I said, that Latino boy, or Mexican, whatever the case, however you want to call it, it wasn't apple pie, 4th of July and baseball that made him that. No. It was his grandmother's tacos, his grandmother's prayers. And certain cultures and certain things that he seen that raised him, that made him who he was. And that needs to be represented. And that's represented by calling him a Mexican American. That Mexican is part of that heritage that he comes from. It's still showing respect to the people that came before him, that made him who he is, whether he met them or didn't meet them. It pays homage to his ancestors. I said, there's a lot of people out here who consider themselves white who's not really white. Like English white. But they assimilate in order to have a better life in America. Because at one point in time, they was at the bottom of the totem pole. Everybody was at the bottom of the totem pole, assimilates to being just straight American or white in order to have some sort of success in America. I said the only reason why they can't do that with us is because what? Our skin color is completely different. See, they understand the fact that we ain't from here. They understand the fact that we different. That's why they don't try so hard to make us just what? American. You got the Irish at one point in time was at the bottom of the totem pole in America. Now they just wiped away Irish American. Now they just what? American. Same thing with the Jewish folk. They try to hide their last name so people don't look at them sideways. Yeah. Same with certain Italians when they came over, and Italians were looked at in the bad light for being a mafia and being gangsters and ghetto. And they try to hide that. They brush that up under the thing. So now they're just American. They'll tell you in person, like, yeah, my family's from, but as when they walk in society, no. Same thing with certain Latinos. If they pass for white, white is right. But what I'm saying is there is an importance for representation. So it kind of really hurts my heart when you hear a lot of black people say they're not African American, they're just American. You wiping away your history. You wiping away your people. You wiping away your ancestors. You wiping away about the things that made you you, even if you didn't come into direct contact with these people or these situations or certain prayers, or you never know who was praying for you on that boat. You never know who was praying for you back in your motherland hundreds and hundreds of years ago, saying they want to bless and watch over the people who's coming after them. You don't know who prayed for you. You don't know who cared for you. You don't understand. You know. So by you just assimilating and being just American, you wiping away all that. All that's being wiped away. You wiping away the pain, the struggle that made you you. That's important. It wasn't cherry pie and baseball that made you you. We can respect the cherry pie and baseball, but that wasn't made you you. That wasn't it. And I feel like the more and more and more we drift away from who we really are in our representation, is the more and more they get to paint the narrative of what really happened. They get the chance now to really brush things up under the rug as you accept them. I say, do what you want. I understand it because some people feel like they have no direct contact with, people and back in the motherland. I understand that, but you don't need direct contact. Sometimes you just need to know. You get a better energy and better feeling about yourself when you know that your story didn't just start from slavery. When you know your people came from the most abundant people on this planet. And when you realize that and you link that with who you are now, you become more abundant yourself. You start living in that. You'll understand that this savagery that we have is not us. How we don't give a fuck about one another and all this, how we treat each other like how we treat each other. Well, understand that that is not us. We have been programmed to do that. When you take away that African from African American, now you really accept that. When you have that African in front, now you have to go back and realize and search who you are as a people. Why is that there? Why is this African there? It forces people to go do that. To me, when you wipe away that African from African American, you accept apology for what has been done to you. It's like that forgive and forget. So for me, I love that African American because that African represents a whole lot. It's like what's understood ain't got to be said. It still means that I represent my people, the people who died for me, and I can't forget them. Hey, that's how I feel. That's how I'm thinking. If I'm right or wrong, let me know how y'all feel about that. It's your favorite cousin Rich. Y'all be safe out there. Appreciate y'all for listening. Love and blessings.